We are living through a moment of multiple crises. Compound the 30 million public service workers represented by Public Services International need a lot more than applause. They demand bold action to reshape our social and economic systems. As the DG notes, each crisis reveals long-standing weaknesses in our prevailing systems and policies. Beneath these fault lines lie structural inequalities. We can't address the obscene growth of inequality, injustice, poverty, and irreparable damage to our planet with more of the same. We agree with the DG that our global ambition must be commensurate with the scale of the challenges faced. But we will not achieve peace and prosperity through social dialogue if we are hampered by states who demand a seat at the head of the table but are not committed to the basic principles and core conventions of the ILO. Social dialogue is meaningless without social partners who can organise freely and democratically, independent of government and employers. Social dialogue is premised on accountability, transparency, and trust between the social partners. But no commitment by any government or employer can be relied upon if free trade unions are not able to independently hold them to account. All governments must respect and implement freedom of association, the right to organise, collectively bargain, and the basic right for workers to withdraw their labour. The Director General also notes how social justice requires dignity, economic security, and equal opportunity. This means workers must not face discrimination or violence in the workplace or in their community. It is unacceptable that over 60 countries have legislation against homosexuality. No person is illegal, regardless of their sexuality, regardless of their origin, or regardless of their political views. Social justice needs universal respect for human rights. There can be no exceptions. We urge the Director General to give the role of public services and the workers that provide them the attention they deserve in any coalition for social justice. Social justice requires states to take their primary responsibility for the realisation of human rights. This can only be achieved through well-funded, publicly delivered, universal public services, not more corporate actors driven by excessive corporate profits. COVID has shown us all that it is public services and public service workers that keep us safe and ensure our economies run. Just a few short years ago, everybody applauded them and called them heroes. Yet their rewards are precarious work, low wages, unsafe work, and too often denial of labour rights. And we will all pay the price for a COVID recovery based on more austerity, privatisation, and unjust solutions to sovereign debt crises. Instead, it's time for states to finally reform the global tax system. This means a 25% global minimum corporate tax based on global profits and with a fair distribution of taxing rights to those countries where the economic activity takes place. And we need taxes on speculation, capital gains, and extreme wealth to fund new green jobs and rebuild infrastructure. And as we face new challenges from emerging technologies, we must not leave governance to corporate actors. It's time to reclaim data as a public good, limit its harmful use, and build an inclusive co-governance of artificial intelligence and digital tools. Social justice requires a social redistribution of care. Caring for each other and our most vulnerable should not be a profit opportunity for corporations. We must revalue care work and redistribute it more fairly, ensuring public care for the aged, the frail, our young, and our vulnerable, based not on profitability, but on need. Quality care requires valued care workers. They must have adequate staffing levels, fair pay, a safe working environment, and basic trade union rights. And there can be no social justice without radical and swift action on the climate crisis. And this must not be left to the private actors who've created the problem. Both the countries that have rapidly industrialised from fossil fuels and the corporations who have profited from this extraction must pay their fair share to mitigate the worst consequences we now all face. Workers must be involved in shaping the difficult political decisions required to build a just and sustainable transition at all levels of government, including local and regional government workers. It's time for governments to take back control of energy production and distribution, provide massive investments in public green energy, and create new jobs. Social justice will only be achieved if we reinvigorate the role of the democratic state, not the market, as the key actor in shaping our collective future. Public service workers make social justice happen every single day. Navigating these compounding crises and building a fair, sustainable, and equitable world means building quality public services and supporting the workers that provide them.